Hello and welcome to the Aaron Russo podcast. Today's episode is about Doomsday. Obviously, I've been around for a while, and we've always had, this fear that the world is coming to an end. In fact, it's been announced and widely publicised on mainstream media twice during my life, and I've recently, on the mainstream media news, they said that the Doomsday Clock that scientists have been collating as a time close, they call it midnight. And, back after the Cold War, it was 17 minutes to midnight. But they're saying it's 85 seconds to midnight presently. It's the clock set every January, and it's 2026. And they're saying it's the closest to midnight it's ever been. And they're saying it's a combination of nuclear war, climate change, and AI, and human inclusion in that, and the human part of it. And they're saying that, we've never been closer to wiping ourselves out. It's like the worst possible outcome. Oh, fucking hell, it just gets funnier and funnier, these guys. It's funny that there's actually someone doing this. Do you know what I mean? And what does it benefit? There's a lot of people that are not as intelligent as... Well, not just intelligence, but aware of what's going on in the world and how it all works and stuff. And they'd be quite scared by this if you didn't know any better. If you were brainwashed and stuff. So let's go through nuclear, okay? The worst of nuclear, the only time nuclear gets used, it's crazy that it's 2026 and two countries can disagree and not be able to talk about something. And so, like when two adults can't communicate and they don't have the intelligence to work something out and just get the benefit, that both people can be happy with, or they can't negotiate something in which both sides are happy. They just punch each other. And this is like that. They just bomb each other. Like when you can't... it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy to think that even grown people would do this. And it's 2026. But the fact is, the wars that, we've had 2,000 years of killings. It's going to be known as the barbaric times in the future. When we look back at this last 2,000 years period, it's going to be called the barbaric times because we've just killed and killed and killed and killed and killed other humans. We don't even know who, you know what I mean? It's just crazy when you work out that these are all humans, but when you work out in the future what these people are, and it's like killing yourself. Anyway, so if you look at all the wars, it's actually the least amount of, even per capita, per world, whatever you want to look at it, we're coming to the end of war. And I guess what brings the end of, anything on the planet is when enough people collectively go, no, that's it, no more. And while at the moment, a little protest, we always say, oh yeah, that isn't the collective. We need everybody to go, no, not acceptable anymore. Okay. If you take the Me Too movement in Hollywood as an example, for as long as Hollywood's been around, I don't know if it's 100 years, not even, 30s, nearly 100 years, women have been taken advantage of and used as basically sex slaves for disgusting men because they have control and power in Hollywood, and every young woman wants to be a star. It brings you fame and money and abundance and stuff, and you become, that less than 1.0001% that make it. So not everyone gets in, and women will pretty much do anyone will do anything opportunistically to get that. That's why, politicians become multi-millionaires on very, modest salaries. Everyone's out to get what they can because that's the way the world works. That's what happens. So with the Me Too movement, enough of the women in Hollywood went, enough's enough. The collective said no more. And so you don't realise how profound or how big, poignant this moment is in history. That's been going on the whole time Hollywood's been around. It changed in our time. It stopped in our time, and that will never happen again. We will never get back to a time where women will be taken advantage of sexually to get a leg up in Hollywood. So, that in itself, so you can imagine on a world scale, like we're killing less people than ever. If you go to the War Memorial in this country, in Canberra, you'll see the last few wars, because of drones and other types of warfare that they're using, the wall is, a few hundred. If you go back to World Wars and Vietnam and all the rest of it, there's walls and walls and walls of thousands of people that have died. Hundreds of thousands have died. And so, these aren't the only wars that are going on. This has been happening for quite some time. But when enough people collectively on Earth say enough's enough, that's when it stops. Not when the politicians grow up. Not when, perceived, these people are the lowest of consciousness. They're not, they're not in touch with their emotions. In fact, their emotions have been completely and utterly suppressed. There's narcissistic tendencies. They're bullies. There's corruption. These are all negative. They're like the mainstream media. It's one of the most lowest forms of vibration getting around, and you're never going to get anything good from it. So as far as the Doomsday Clock goes, we're only given things on the planet from spiritually, from the shit I know, if we can handle it, and if we're not going to use it negatively. Now, I'll tell you something that no one knows. This planet has had 5 times before us, we have wiped ourselves out, whether it be natural disaster. It hasn't been as much as us with nuclear in the past, but 5 times we've had to restart and get where we are. We've passed the marker in 2012. Most people don't know. Most of the Mayan calendars, the ancient calendars, finished. And obviously, in anything that's not physical, which is mind and spiritual, usually the end of something is not the death, it's a rebirth, or it's a rebranding. So the actual nuclear thing, the fact that we even have that in 2026 and that we can threaten people with it, what are we threatening? Okay, what's America is threatening? Weapons of mass destruction, which there still hasn't been any proof of, but we'll kill that. We went and chased down terrorism. You know what I mean? There's lots of things which no one has any proof of whatsoever. So, what would be the reason that you would need to use nuclear weaponry? Between who and who? And what's going on? In war at the moment, the people that provide and make the most money out of war don't give a fuck who's fighting each other. They still win. And it's a bit of a game. It's a bit of a show. It's a bit of a thing. But collectively, you've all heard the saying that, the Earth's wealth is controlled by 1%, and the 99% are like elephants at the zoo. They've just got this rope, but they can't realise they're limited. They realise they can't. They could just snap it and take over the world if they wanted to, but the 99% are brainwashed and controlled and stuff. And that's true to an extent. But the nuclear thing just not going to happen. Climate change is slowly becoming known as simply just put it, not true. We've hyper-fixated on the last couple of hundred years, couple of thousand years, right, in our whole existence. But this has been going on for 14 billion years, this galaxy that it's held together magnetically, and each planet goes in revs, so it has the same speed out there, so there's a constant. All these things we have no fucking idea of. We don't know that every, climate change, these people don't know. They weren't around 450 years ago to know that there's mini ice ages and cycles, and Mother Nature's like an ecosystem replenishing and doing things on larger cycles and larger scales that we don't even have the measurement of. So that's just a total load of shit. And through these mini ice ages, colder places become colder. It's not like there isn't enough places on the earth to inhabit. It's just that we all choose to live in these cities near oceans and in big cities. You can drive for miles in this country for, 8 hours in how many different directions and be nothing. So there's plenty of room. We just got to, live in different places if it gets too cold. The AI is a fear of the unknown, right? We all fear what we don't know. That's the greatest fear that we have. It's a bit of a general fear, I guess, with everything, that AI is going to take over and all this stuff and bits and pieces. AI does not have consciousness. AI is a controlled system that can be programmed. So the only reason that AI would take over anything is because an evil person programmed it to do so. That's the fact. That is an absolute factoroonie. So what are we fearing? We're fearing humans. What are we fearing in nuclear? Humans pressing the button. Climate change? Humans fucking falsifying data and document, that there's something called climate change. AI. So the Doomsday is just propaganda to instill fear. Now, fear in the form of stress shortens a person's life. There's scientists, there's many, many, many scientists that have proven this. So why would we be out there putting on the mainstream news for the most part of all people on the planet to see and to make them fearful? Why would we want to make the whole planet fearful and shorten their life and stress them out and keep them more confused, stressed, distracted, and with other things also completely and utterly in survival mode? Because outside of that, you get to stop and think about what's going on and what's happening to you. And so basically, these things are all known. But unless they're, well, no one's going to go and look for it, are they? You're not going to go and look for all this stuff if you're trying to survive, or even if you had time to. No one really has the ability to we all just want to stand in line, I guess. Stand in line with the next guy. So where's the Doomsday come from? There was Y2K and in the Y2K in the year 2000 with the all the clocks were going to not work, remember? There's always been some form, and then there's been these cults that the world's going to end on this certain day and all the rest of it. This has been going on for a long time. It's a little bit like the cure for cancer. You've been getting breadcrumbs, all these promises for 50 years with no solid cure for anything. It seems to me that humanity has actually got used to not winning. Not winning. You come and sit with me. Come and sit with the winners. Come and think about things a little bit differently. Do some critical thinking. Get your head out of the fear factory and see what's available to you. It's not complicated. It's not hard. The problem is that at the moment on the planet, we've got a lot of people that are finding truth and then going to try and scream it at the top of their lungs. And they're called conspiracy theorists. And sometimes it's controlled opposition, propaganda, and, it's... humans are easily fooled. In fact, it's easier to fool you than to make you believe the truth. And these are all things. This has been going on for a long time. This is not new. So when you look at the fear from all this doomsday stuff, you're there. No one's thinking logically. If you started school and your parents said to you, okay, from today for the rest of your life until you grow up and leave this house, I want you to question and get proof of everything that you are told by everyone. And I want you to be so curious and keep asking question after question after question until you believe it. Do you know what percentage of things at school those children would have going into adulthood? About 3%. They would have about 3% of anything that could be given with undeniable truth that could be tested and proven in front of them that they could see. So we've become this trusting And we've gone, oh, you know what? It's my parents. We'll trust them. Doesn't matter that they grew up in a lower consciousness with, that's all they knew at that time. They weren't that smart. They weren't aware. They weren't open and receptive to finding better and new ways to do things. Better and new ways to do things. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And so we trusted the news. It wasn't so long ago that there was only 3 major television and maybe a national and an international TV station. There's 5 in this country, and a major newspaper in each town, and all those journalists had college degrees. Now there's 187 channels. There's online, there's media, there's social media. There's a complete menagerie of fake news, propaganda, narrative-driven stories that have no proof whatsoever, and you're all gobbling them up, or you've got them popping in as sub-beliefs through your 5 senses. And you're all believing them. I don't know why. Maybe, well, why am I telling you this? Why am I explaining this to you? Because I have proof. I have undeniable proof that you can test today, right today. If you have someone in your family that has chronic anxiety or any form of cancer, any stage, and you go to my website and you do the protocol, you will not have chronic anxiety in 14 days. 300 million people in the world have it. If you follow the protocol for cancer, it starts reversing from that day onwards that you start the program. It's an alignment. It's a system restore. It's got nothing to do with medicine, but it has got everything to do with knowing what caused those things in the first place to be able to reverse them. So if you do them, like I've said in the past, and I've been doing this for nearly 8 years now, so people have been doing this, and no one has come and said, I've done it, it doesn't work yet. No one is advertising this guy as a shonk. This guy is, because I'm not selling you anything. It's free. There's not even an email. There's nothing there. There's no barriers. It can be started today. I share everything openly. It can't be synthesized. It can't be copied. In 100 years, that'll be the same cure, the only cure. In 200 years, it'll be the same cure, the only cure. You don't know this, but this is proof. This is what you're all asking for. Well, not asking for. I'm telling you to go and ask for it. You're quite happy to keep consuming all the lies. Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck, when they get presented with the greatest discovery in the history of the planet, just turns the podcast off and goes back to normal life? Who the fuck does that? You do. Right? Who the fuck would get presented with a thing that can save billions of people over the next few years or generations, a couple of generations of people on this planet, and just goes, oh yeah, I'm a bit busy, got my own shit here? Who does that? Who the fuck does that? Is that a normal human being? Or is that one that is desensitized, distracted, confused, completely conditioned, like brainwashed, basically? It's one of the greatest forms of brainwashing ever. Genius. Absolutely genius. There's only one thing more genius than that genius, and that's my genius that you can test. The other genius you can't test. Have you noticed that anyone that, has really got evil intentions, you'll never know who they are. They have enough, if they're bullies or they've got enough money to be able to fuck you and still not, and so you can't find out who they are. You think all these, crime figures and stuff that are all known are smart? No, they're the fucking low-level they're the little lapdogs, mate. The real criminals. I come from one of the biggest international crime families in the world. No one knows us. No one knows us, mate. You think that, the biggest companies invest and they go, invest in Coca-Cola. No, they fucking own most of Coca-Cola and they own most of Pepsi. They don't give a fuck what you drink. They don't give a fuck what you do. They win. There's someone smarter out there. There's someone faster out there. There's someone that knows more. It's just not you. There will always be someone. And depending on that person's fibre, fabric they call it, character they call it, depending on that person, depends on whether they're going to take advantage of humanity, or whether they're going to, I guess, be like me. It doesn't matter if someone offered me $1 billion tomorrow. I would not sell out the information that I have for humanity. It means that all of the children on this planet moving forward get to live in a world where cancer doesn't exist, chronic anxiety doesn't exist, and eventually all the man-made diseases won't exist. I think that's more important than me having billions of dollars and being able to go and do whatever I want now and you all still suffer. I couldn't do that. I personally could not sit here and take billions of dollars and never, ever, and you know what? It wasn't even my parents would. They'd fucking sell you out like fucking tomorrow. Most of my family would. Most of my friends would. They'd sell you out. They'd take the money, live the most lavish, beautiful lifestyle themselves, have longevity, all the secrets, have no disease, fucking live to fucking 200 years old, and they would happily let billions of people die, and most people would. And I guess maybe that's why I was entrusted to go on this journey, to have these discoveries, and to spend my whole life working towards this moment. Because I think that is more important than anything that I could get for myself. Don't get me wrong. I've had my moments. Because it's not easy knowing the truth and having to live in a world of lies. It's not easy to have everyone laugh, ridicule, talk about you, not knowing that all you're trying to do is help humanity. It's not easy to lose all of your friends and all of your family in the process and have, the people closest to you going, you healed yourself, isn't that enough? To me, that just is wrong. You know what I mean? You've healed yourself of an incurable disease that 300 million people have. Isn't that enough, Aaron? Why do you have to go and fucking change the world? Why do you have to go and fucking, cause all these fucking problems for every single body and organisations and thousands of correspondences? And why do you have to go and do that? Why can't you just fucking give up and be happy that you are healed? That's what I get from the people that know me the best. Do you think that's right? Do you think that's what you should do? Because back when I was a teenager, Mark Gruner, this guy from Harvard, that was the numbers science guy that taught me about the energy in numbers, he said there's a few rules he has in life, and one of them is greater the knowledge, greater the responsibility. And I think that this knowledge is so far the greatest that has ever been discovered on this planet. So therefore, I think there's a bit of responsibility that goes with that to enlighten and to make everyone aware. And then I'm not forcing my will on anyone. I'm just saying, hey, if you do have this and the whole world tells you that it's can't be done, can't be fixed, well, I've done it. And lots of other people have done it. And it works every time because it works with a natural system by aligning it back to its normal state, by understanding who we are, the system we're part of, and what caused it in the first place. Here it is, from one human to another. If you want to do something about it, here it is. If not, fucking go and keep being sick. That's what's happening here. Yeah, I'm not out there like Jehovah's Witnesses standing on every corner, fucking knocking on doors, fucking, evangelizing. That I have the greatest discovery on the planet. I'm not doing that. I'm saying, here's all the proof in the world. Here is everything free. You can just go and start it tomorrow if you're sick, and when it works, great. Good on you. And if it doesn't, please tell me, because you'll be the first person that it doesn't work for. I guess at the end of the day, and I pussyfoot around this all the time because we're being presented with religion that's not true, mainstream media is not true, everything's a lie. And I pussyfoot around all the time, and I'm like, oh, don't mention that. But I'm going to mention it. I'm going to mention the elephant in the room right now. The elephant in the room is, this was given to me by the creator of you, the universe, and everything. God, not the one you presented at church or whatever. The real God, right, gave me this healing protocol to firstly heal myself. So that's how it works every time. I think he fucking knows you a little bit better than you know yourself. I think he also knows that you're all brainwashed, and some of you are so sick and brainwashed that you are actually the problem. You are the problem. So really, if someone came to me when I was sick, right, because I didn't want to be here anymore, I'd had enough. Trying to get through minutes, trying to get through fucking minutes, hours, days with this chronic anxiety. I just couldn't get rid of it. I had chest pains that wouldn't go away. It didn't matter. Medication, Valium, alcohol, drugs, everything. Sometimes there was just nothing to get rid of it. It was like I would hate to think what a person with like chronic pain and things like that. It's terrible. It just you have no quality of life. Don't want to be here anymore. And if someone at that point, and I did try everything, every known possible thing. This is another thing. If you want to do something on this planet, you have to be open to absolutely everything and closed to nothing. So I did that. I did everything that was possibly even known by every medicine, doctor, specialist, therapy, treatment, you fucking name it, I've ticked it off. But I also went into the other realms of other things that they've said that's worked, whether it be fucking psychedelics, ayahuasca, everything. Fucking, you name it, Cambo. Fucking, you name it. I did it all. None of it fucking did anything until I went to the fucking big man himself and said, hey, motherfucker, creator of the universe, I don't want to fucking deal with your cronies. Fucking, you reckon you're fucking the man? Fucking deal with this shit. Help me out. So, if it came by the fucking person that created you, and you still don't want to fucking try it, you still fucking just turn the podcast off and don't fucking share it, then we have a bigger problem here on the planet. And so I've gone back to the creator and gone, this is fucked. I said to him, this is fucked, mate. I'm in a fucking absolutely, I wish I didn't fucking ask you for help. It's worse. The feeling I have now is way worse than when I was sick. At least when I was sick, I still had my family. I had my fucking dumb fuck friends. I was part of this lie. I said, once you get out of that lie, the system, the corruption, the lie, everything, there's nothing else, mate. All of a sudden, I'm by myself. So I've gone back to him and I've gone, now you're going to have to fucking tell me. I don't want to deal with your cronies again. I want to know what the fuck is going on with this world. Why do sick people not want to make themselves better? Why can't they see this? What the fuck is going on? And the more I got into it and I went down this line, I can do things that you guys can't even dream about. And so we go down this road and I'm just like, whoa, and it's getting more overwhelming and this is why and that's why. It's multidimensional. There's so many fucking things going on. And I'm like, all right, stop. And he keeps fucking showing me. And I'm like, stop, for fuck's sake. I can fucking see it now. It's clear as day. Fucking stop. And he keeps going. And I said, all right. Like with my anxiety in the first place in 2018 when I asked for your help, now I want you to help me. What the fuck? How do we do this? What the fuck do we do from here on? because I'm fucking feeling great. I've never been better. Everything's great. Everything is fucking hunky-dory. Fears, healing, fun. Just trauma's gone. Everything. I'm at a point where I can experience life and enjoy it and express myself better than I ever have. Love is amazing. Life is amazing. Everything. So I'm like, dude, what the fuck do I do with this whole fucking, other shit? This healing, this fucking greatest discovery, this proof of you. This proves that you are an actual fucking thing that every single person can prove and test for themselves. Not one religion in the world, not even the fucking Vatican can do that. It's all there. And I'm like, and these fucking dickwits don't want to know about what can we do? What do we do? What do we do? All right, fucking boom. And then it started. He starts showing me. He starts putting me. I walk into 7-Eleven and I see this guy. And I get to know him for a few days. And I'm walking one day and he's got his name tag on. I said, oh, the name tag. I didn't know your name. We've been talking for ages. What's your name? And he goes, Surrender. He's Indian, obviously. It's double R. And so it just kept coming and coming. Surrender, 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 surrender. And if you look at history, when the big unsurmountable tasks or war, like fucking David versus Goliath, all those sorts of things, you surrendered it over to him. And so he is now going to bring it to you. And you'll know where it came from. It won't come from me. Do you get that? This whole fucking thing that you guys can't see because you're living in the lie and brainwashed in the lie will be illuminated in a way that only the creator of the universe that created you, that's trying to give you the greatest healing discoveries of all time, the greatest discovery, period, the first healing of an incurable disease on the planet. He said, don't worry about it. I've got this. Move out the way. Surrender, let it go. Now, 2,000 years ago, if you are into astrology, you'll know that an age started, the age of Pisces. We've just had a swap over again and we're in the age of Aquarius. 2,150 years approximately. Astrologers say, I don't know anything about astrology. And the last time that this changeover happened, we're still talking about it today. And so it's a 36-year wobble, 2012, 18 years in, 18 years out, 36-year wobble, ending in 2030. So you're about to be awakened all across the planet by the creator of the universe. And you'll be talking about it for 2,000 years. Pretty cool. Welcome to my world. And because all the old energy, all the bullies, in business, the mainstream media, likes that fear. They're going to ramp it up. It's going to look like it's getting worse before it gets better. And you know what? You know yourself, anything that you've ever fixed or anything that's ever been made better has always gotten worse first. You can't have yin without the yang. You wouldn't know what bad was if there wasn't good. You wouldn't know what good was if there wasn't bad. There's mechanisms in play, and you're about to see the greatest show on earth. Front row seats. And if you knew what souls are about, if you're an old soul, which means you've had more earth time through the reincarnation process, and you're here now and you're part of it as far as illuminating light, being light. Don't have to do anything, just walk around and be a being of light, because dark can't exist in the presence of light. So it's not even a fight, it's just being light. And so all the old souls that are here right now wanted to be here for this. They said, we want to be here at this time because we can tip and get it over the line and make sure that this fucking happens. Because in 2012 was a marker through all the calendars, and that was a time where a group of humans on this earth have never ever lived this long before. And so we don't understand through the cycles and the unlocking of certain time capsules within our DNA, the different upgrades and things that starts happening, and the DNA efficacy starts rising, and we have all these magical things happen. We don't understand all this sort of stuff. And it's all happening now after 2012. And you are going to witness it all, and it'll all, like everything else, with hindsight, it'll make sense afterwards. And everything will not be recognizable from this moment onwards. And good, I say. So that marker being the longest human inhabitants on planet Earth. I told you at the start of this podcast that there has been 4 other groups that went before us that didn't make it. So we are now, and look, who cares? You don't care. But when the Creator, over the next few years, illuminates all of this stuff to you that I'm talking about in all of my podcasts, blabbing on that you just hear blah, 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 you'll all be running back to see how to play the game. And it's all there on my website. It's all there in my podcast. It's all there for you for free. And you're welcome.